Now do you believe me? Now do you believe me? 3 years ago on this channel, I started trying to ring the alarm bell and warn people what you're being told about Venezuela is wrong. The information being put out on CNN and Fox is wrong, and it's propaganda. The information was that Venezuela, starving people, military on the brink of collapse, ready to overthrow the government, no food, and a country in complete disarray. Completely wrong. Absolutely, totally, completely wrong. But people bought it, and this channel took a lot of guff. Now Venezuela has 2 Americans that they have detained in a plot to overthrow the government. They couldn't do it with their make-believe financial aid or humanitarian aid. They couldn't do it with their failed army barracks uprisings. They've tried everything they know, and they've failed. They've failed because they believe their own propaganda. They believe their own bullshit. If Venezuela, the military, the country, was so fragile because of evil, terrible, horrible socialism, don't you think by now the Colombians or the Brazilians would have been able to roll in there by themselves and lay claim and seize that gold, seize that oil, seize that coltan, seize all those natural resources? If it was just that easy? Apparently, all you need are Care Bears riding My Little Ponies into battle, and you will win. Personally, I think Care Bears on My Little Ponies could have probably done a better job than this group out of Silvercorp, which is based literally an hour and a half south of where I'm sitting right now. You go another hour and a half, and you wind up at Mar-a-Lago. Epic, complete, and total failure because the government believed its own propaganda. And if you don't think this goes right to the top, think again. This guy on the right is directly tied to a meeting with Goudreau, the leader, the owner of Silvercorp, the 3-time Bronze Star winner that we covered in a video 2 or 3 days ago. I'll give you the link to it. It's about a 30-minute expose. He's the guy that started all this. And this guy on the right was honored at the State of the Union speech given by the man on the left. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to watch it. And we're going to listen with our own ears right from the top.
Here this evening is a very brave man who carries with him the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of all Venezuelans. Joining us in the gallery is the true and legitimate president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido. Mr. President, please take this message back to your family. Thank you, Mr. President. Great honor. Thank you very much.
Wow, great honor. A great honor to have that coward. Of course, D.C. is just a land of cowards. Both aisles stood up, applauded. Oh, Mr. Wonderful Juan Guaido, now tied to Justin Goudreau, who put the guys down there who are now captured. And will be giving up the game very soon. And of course, you know what's coming next, right? Oh, by the way, these are the 2 guys. We have basically the stand-in for the Pillsbury Doughboy on the right, And we also have what looks like a reject from Police Academy 2. Let me see if I can find a better picture. Here we go. This is a much better picture. Yep. Whatever you do, super tough militia gun nuts, don't do any PT before you go invade a country. Whatever you do, don't hit the weights, don't go for a jog, all you really need to know how to do is to aim your ballistic weapon at a beer can on a hay bale and hit it. That's all you need, and just watch a lot of Red Dawn, watch a lot of Rambo. Oh, and definitely watch the mainstream media and believe everything they tell you. And if some guy who can show you some shiny ribbons says that this will be a piece of cake, we're going to roll in there with 60 guys, and I've got contacts in the government right down the road, and we're going to be heroes. And those of you already typing saying, the government had nothing to do with it, do you really think if these guys would have succeeded, that the government would have said, oh no, we had nothing to do with it? It was totally them. It was just all a bunch of private civilians. They would have rolled Wido out. Fanfare, confetti, all this kind of stuff. And they would have, lauded this Silver Corp, this Florida corporation that's, right down the road. And this would have been one of those huge political wins. And I'm sure there would have been some story about Venezuela, in its weakened state from COVID-19, was clearly too ripe a target for the administration to ignore. Some bullshit like that. Oh, and all of you that love Mr. Angry Cops, apparently here the people detaining these two Americans clearly don't know anything about jungle or urban warfare, because look, they're wearing all black. You see, he said that in his video when he was making fun of the Venezuelan military, that because they didn't put on woodland camo properly in the jungle, that they were a bunch of sad sacks and idiots and didn't know what they were doing. What a fucking joke. Seriously, what a fucking joke. You can kiss, by the way, any hope of a political solution now. Goodbye. This is an act of war. This was an act of war. This is tied directly to the U.S. government and to people supported by the U.S. government. This is exactly the same thing as the English King George hiring Hessian mercenaries to take Trenton. Remember that story? German mercenaries? This is exactly the same thing. What a bunch of epic failures. But of course, plausible deniability. Plausible deniability. That's where all the Trump NZs are going to come from now. You can't prove that Donald Trump ordered anything. Really? No, I can't. You're right. I can't. I don't have any recordings. I don't have any signed documents, but there actually are signed documents, by the way, with Juan Guaido's signature on them for general contractor services from Silver Corp. Silver Corp being the people that employed those two guys you saw detained. And that's all they need. This guy, recognized, quote unquote, by the United States as the quote unquote legitimate president of Venezuela, hired a mercenary firm down near Space Coast in Florida to train a bunch of guys, mixtures of our citizens, Venezuelan nationals, and Venezuelans, Colombians, and Brazilians, to train in Colombia for an invasion, illegal, undeclared war of a sovereign nation. A sovereign nation that held elections. And the same group of people that have won those elections basically since 2002 won again. And these rich, ridiculous, corrupt, thieving liars in Weston and Hialeah are now caught with their hands in the cookie jar. They are caught, they are busted, and it goes right to the top. There is no new sheriff in town. There has never been a new sheriff in town. There have never been any underground saving of kids. There has never been any, what is the word? Unsealed indictments. Never been any arrests. None of your make-believe Q bullshit is real. It was all just a game to get a bunch of people to vote against something or someone, so that you would then endorse the game just by participating. Too many people were saying, that's it, I'm not voting R, I'm not voting D ever again. They had to change that for you. They had to figure out a way to get you back into the game. And you fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. By voting for a parentheses D during the Bush administration, parentheses R during the Obama administration, parentheses I for a couple of years, parentheses D when he gave Rahm Emanuel $50,000 to win the mayorship of Chicago. All irrelevant, though. And I'm sure you'll find a way to weasel your way out of this debacle, this calamity. But I don't care anymore. I really don't. Because this is all the proof we need now. This is all the proof we need right here. Like, share, subscribe.